3, 2, 1. Let's go. We're live. Welcome. Black British Cyclist is back. Live at 5. So, don't know why I'm shouting. But anyway, here we are. Back for every day this week. Streaming live on YouTube to all my subs and anyone else who's not subbed. I am riding Tour De Zwift 2024. We are on stage 2. So I'm just doing a short one today. This is Group C. It's only a few kilometers long. Not a great deal of elevation. Let's check out and see exactly what that is. Anyway, I'm going to be riding through. Nothing too hard or spectacular. What I'm going through, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Zwift. So I'm going to talk about the Zwift Screen. Everything you can see all around me. You can learn what this Zwift is all about. Maybe you want to get started. Maybe you want to watch. Usually you can find me over on Twitch. Streaming, part of the Twitch Degens. We're a group of cyclists who just love to Zwift. Share our experiences. But talk to each other and randoms while we do it. We cover a number of different countries. The USA, Canada, all across Europe, Asia, we're everywhere. Anyway, 10 seconds, so this goes. 524 people in this group. You know how it goes. What do I say? Let's go! So we've got our rave outfits on with the old raver. So let's do some ride-ons. So hopefully the music's a bit louder today, but not too loud. So when you start off on a Zwift ride, you start off in the pen. The good thing to do to get you started so you don't get left behind with all the other riders is to make sure you start pedaling before the timer hits 0. So your Watson speed shoots you off straight away. Especially important if you're in a race. In a group ride, it doesn't really matter. Although you want to stay bunched up in the group, because you get to share the draft. And it just makes your whole bike ride a lot more easier. Anyway, you'll find the first minute or so as you get started off in a group ride or a Zwift race, it's going to be pretty intense. People jostling for position, but also trying to drop some unexpected cyclists and just get that advantage. So you'll find that you'll have to put some extra watts in just to catch up. But this is the group ride. We're riding a exact copy of some Scottish routes. It's not a race, it's a group ride. So ride it as you want. You get power ups along the way. I've got the draft power up. You can see someone's fired one off just there. And what that does is it gives you a draft boost. Right now we're all drafting because we kind of like, think of it as the slipstream. Slipstream. So you're sheltering from some of that wind that's coming towards you, so you're not having to cut through the air. And every kilometre you cycle in Zwift, you get XP bonus. If you're using kilometres, that means a 20 XP point. And you use those XPs will level you up. As you level up, you can select more routes. And it also allows you to buy better bikes and wheels from the drop shop. You're not using real money. You're just using what they call drops. That's like Zwift currency you build up. The more you cycle, the harder you cycle, the more drops. If you look just above me, where that rectangle block is, you can see the numbers going up. Just above where it says 14.5 kilometers. Yeah, I've got just over 1 million drops. What? Check me out. I'm like a Zwift millionaire. So let me just get a bit settled in with this group and we can talk about the stream. Ignore my heart rate, just above. my heart rate's not really 50. If I was asleep or just woken up, something about this heart rate monitor, at the moment it's kind of playing up. I probably need to change the battery. Anyway, right. So should we talk about the screen? The Zwift Screen. So we're going to start just above me and we're going to go across that way. So the first blue box is showing my current watts. You can see I'm about 170. And then within that box you can see my cadence. I'm doing a steady 80 or so RPMs at the moment. Heart rate, when it's reading correctly, that will show my heart rate. Then jump across to that next circle. As I mentioned, we've got the Powerup in there. You can select it from the keyboard, or if you have the Zwift play button, I'll use the companion app. It's right here on my handlebars, easy reach. You fire that off and it's going to give you that boost. The next big rectangle block, that's pretty much all the data you'd have on your bike computer. So you can see I'm traveling at about 45 kilometers per hour. Distance traveled so far, 2.8 kilometers. 4 meters of elevation. Elapsed time is 4 minutes 37. Over to the side, I've now reached level 50. What? Get me. This is the one of 2 laps. And the little blocks there, the first little mini block, obviously that's covering the leading. Then there's the 2 blocks, we're doing 2 laps. So I'm about a third, just over a third through this first section. And at the end you can see the finish line flag, 13 kilometers left. And of course drops above. There you go, pretty straightforward. All the stuff you'd see on your dash if you was driving, or on your bike computer head unit, the essential bits of data. And then across to the far right, you can see the map of where we are. And I'm where that little arrow is. That'll be me there. All the other dots are other cyclists. Within there you can see the gradients. When the gradient changes, currently 1%. My Turbotrainer's increased the difficulty a little bit. It's getting steeper, 2%. And below that you can see the leaderboard, or like a, what's it called? So it shows all the riders and their positions. So I'm currently 388th out of 722 riders currently riding. And obviously mine's the highlighted one. Just there, me on the bike. Okay, black cyclist. Got my flag to denote the country where I'm from. Great British Cyclist. And you can also see the current watts per kilogram that I'm pushing out and the distance travelled. Now I can click any of those names there within the companion app and it will give me a look at that cyclist. I can see all of their data, unless they're private, but you know, what activities they've been on, how long they've been cycling. So that's pretty much the main bits you need to see on the Zwift Screen. Oh, and just below, this bit all here, this little colourful ribbon, that's my paragraph or graph. So you can see the different colours. Grey means doing not a lot, you know, very light spin, warm up kind of thing, cool down. Blue is like zone 2. Then you got green, yellow, red, goes up accordingly, according to the effort. So I'll do you a bit of red. Oh yeah, just before the hill, that makes sense, doesn't it, Kenny? Right, so I'm going to fire off my draft here. That'll give me a draft boost for I think it's 20 seconds. And my Turbotrainer will adjust the difficulty, the resistance, to reflect the terrain that's being displayed on the screen. So it's getting a bit lighter now as it levels off. It's going to pick up again, 3%, 4%. Going to drop down a couple of gears. And there we go. So we're coming up to another gate. So you want to make sure you fired off your Powerup before you go through one of these gates. I'll get another one. Now we can guess what it would be. Feather, aero, or draft. I'm hoping for feather. Yes! Okay, so the feather's going to make me lighter by 10% for, I think it's 15 seconds. Perfect for when I'm climbing the next hill. It'll make me lighter. The lighter you are, easier and the faster you travel up that hill. Right. Just above me, you can see I'm no longer in the draft. So I'm working harder than I need to. I'm just going to make sure I can slot in behind these riders. Benefit from that. Let's call it wind protection. Get into the slipstream. Slipstream, baby. Up the gears a bit. Yeah. That's in a nice little group. We're going at a decent pace. Eat, sleep, repeat. Welcome back. Pretty much doing a similar thing to yesterday, but I'm just on a shorter version. Thank you for joining. 7%, 8% gradient. Oh, it's getting really hard, so you might have to go at the saddle. At the saddle. Give the legs a bit of a rest as we enter the Scottish castle. Yeah, ignore the heart rate monitor. It takes about 10 minutes for it to settle in. I need to change the battery. Sometimes when it reads low or reads high, it's a battery issue. It should start climbing. At this pace, I'm probably going to be about 144, 145. Give it a moment to settle in. I'm absolutely not that fit or not that dead that my heart rate is lower than an elephant. So under 10 kilometers left to go on this very short route. But hopefully it's giving you an insight into exactly what this Zwift Cycling game is all about. So if you're new, you might have seen it on YouTube videos or TikTok videos. This is what it is. Real cycling, but indoors. So in order to get set up, all you need is a bike. Any bike. Doesn't need to be expensive. Doesn't even need to have crazy gears. You can do some gearing in the app itself or with the Turbotrainer. There's two different types of Turbotrainers you can get. You can get a wheel on, or you can get a direct drive. The wheel on, your back wheel will sit against a roller, and that applies pressure, resistance. So it's not as accurate because it's got to estimate the power that's coming out, and you have a speed sensor. And it won't adjust automatically like it has now. The gradient's changed to 5%. Let's fire off this. Or the direct drive, which is what I'm on now. If you look on the bike one here, there's the Turbotrainer just by my hand. The back wheel of my bike comes off. The bike attaches to the Turbotrainer. So as I'm driving the bike, driving the pedals, Turbotrainer transmits that information into the app, as you can see displayed with my avatar and all the data as I explained earlier. And this is it. So, got a question in the chat from Eat, Sleep, Bike, Repeat. How do I keep myself motivated? Right, here we go. So pretty much, I'm kind of motivated by my personal goals or targets. So I know where I want to be fitness-wise, physique-wise, and cycling is one of the things that I do in order to achieve that. So I'm more into fitness rather than strength and being buff, but I do a combination of different things. Cycling is my biggest input of cardiovascular activity. So great for calorific burn, great for fitness, also great for building overall strength. But I also swim. So what keeps me motivated to get on the bike and to keep riding? Streaming helps. I love talking to people as I'm streaming. I do most of my streaming over on Twitch. We have a really good community there. We support each other, encourage each other. If we've got to do an FTP test or we want to race, we'd always be there, sort of like cheering each other on, helping us to push harder. And when you've got an audience, it makes you want to not quit, because you're like, well, I can't quit now, there's people watching. So yeah, but I absolutely love cycling. If I'm feeling low, if I'm feeling down, if I'm feeling stressed, I'll jump on the bike. And if the weather's good, even better, you can just take the bike, ride outside. I love where I live, North Warwickshire. I'm surrounded by fields and loads of official bike routes, and there were bike trails within 20 miles or so from me for mountain biking. I just love exploring and just seeing new sights. Yeah, that's what keeps me motivated. Just the love of cycling and getting fitter, getting stronger, trying to increase that FTP. See the FTP there, I'm currently 242. I want to get to 250, then 260, 270, etc. Sometimes I set myself goals, such as where do I want to get to this year. So when I first started in Zwift, it was, I want to get to Group C, which I am in now. I want to get to Group B, but I know it's going to take me some effort to build up. I'm not as young as I used to be, but my mind's young, and so is my spirit. Right, back to the bike. Now, when I first started, I actually had my mountain bike on this Turbotrainer. You can have a single speed, £100 bike, whatever, as long as you can ride on it and you feel comfortable. Connect it to a Turbotrainer. You'll need some way of recording the power and speed. So a direct drive Turbotrainer has all of those things built in. So you don't have to worry about additional accessories to add to get going. If you get like a dumb trainer or a wheel-on trainer, you'll need to think about speed and cadence sensor and some way that Zwift is going to recognise power. And obviously you need something to be able to run Zwift off. You can run it from your mobile, Apple TV, Android or iOS. I run mine on a laptop. So a laptop or PC, there are minimum requirements, but if you've got like a low spec laptop or PC, as long as it's not, you know, too old, I'd say, as long as it's not more than 7 or 8 years old, it's probably high enough spec to run Zwift on. And if it's at the minimum level, Zwift will still run. You just won't get all the detail that you can see in mine. I mean, I'm streaming in about 2.5K. I'm running the game at 4K. So you can see all the rich details like the shadows and the texture in the road. That just adds to the experience. It's not essential. Anyway, that's enough about Zwift and setups. There are loads of videos on here that you can watch from other people. GP Llama, for example. Turbotrainers. Everything photogenic. There's hundreds of different YouTube videos on there where you can learn about Zwift setup, getting started, tips, how to ride, and of course I've got a whole load as well, so check out my playlists if you want to find out a little bit more about Zwift. I don't proclaim to be an expert. I'm just a really avid user. So another question, who got you into cycling? How long have you been biking? So, I've literally been biking from since I was a kid. Interesting story though, I didn't actually have a bike when I learnt to ride. Now, I'm not claiming poverty, but my mum did a grand job bringing us all up on her own. So I didn't have a bike, so I learnt to ride on a friend's bike. And as I got older, I got myself a paper round and I bought myself a BMX. I'm talking back in the 80s. And then there was like a local BMX track near where I lived in Birmingham. So we used to go there every weekend. And you didn't even need to own a bike, you could hire a bike, rent a bike, go down the BMX track. So I've always ridden bikes, and then bought myself a mountain bike, very crap, like nothing spectacular, just a standard bike. And I used to ride everywhere. I'd cycle to work, I'd cycle to the gym, cycle back from the gym, just always riding. I used to see it as like free exercise, an extra workout, just by travelling from one place to another. So, and then around about maybe 2008, 2009, I went to my first official mountain bike trail. And I was like, oh my God, this is on my doorstep. It's always been on my doorstep and I've never even known. Anyway, that was the moment I realised that my mountain bike that I bought in Toys R Us wasn't really a bike for riding on mountain. Definitely not on bike trails. I took it to Cannock Chase, up to Lower Cliff. I didn't even get halfway down and the bike was like, it had rattled itself loose. Seriously, the brakes were clogged, obviously caliper brakes. So the brakes were clogged with mud and whatnot. The handlebar had shooken everywhere. And that's when I realised, if I am going to do this trail riding, I need to invest in a better bike than one that cost £100 from Toys R Us and was about 10 years old. So I got my first bike, which I still have, my first dual suspension mountain bike. Got it on the Cycle to Work scheme. We have a scheme here in the UK where you can get a bike through your employer, tax-free, and you just pay for it out of your salary every year. So it gave me a chance to get a bike that was more expensive than I would have ever dreamed of paying. And my love of cycling grew even more from there. I'd go to lots of different trails all around England, into Wales. Every spare weekend, I'll be out mountain biking. All through the winter, all through the Easter. Just hooked. So road cycling is fairly new to me. I've been road cycling for just over 3 years. That was when we had that lockdown period, and it looked as if nothing was going to open for a while. Someone who used to live in the gym 5 days a week, swim 5 days a week, I was like, I'm not going to be able to survive lockdown and not being able to train. So I looked at other options and learnt that I could cycle the bike indoors. There was all these apps you can use. So I looked into getting a Turbotrainer. I paid more than I would have normally done. You know, the stock was non-existent and everyone upped their prices. But I was happy with my purchase or my investment. And I got hooked. Found a new community, online friends. Perfect at a time when usually the only person I'd see on a day-to-day was the delivery guy or the post person. Ride online, ride with friends, started streaming. Yeah, and that's where my passion grew, and I've been here ever since, continuing just trying to get better, fitter, stronger, faster, but enjoying it at the same time. So there you go, bit of a long deliverance there, but I hope you enjoyed me sharing that. You know, sometimes you feel tired, you don't want to get on the bike. So for example, I've had a long day in work today. It's been non-stop. Again, I've not really had a chance to stop for a break. Wrapped up, stayed a bit late. I mean, I'm working from home, so work's downstairs, bike's upstairs. But you know what? Even though I don't really feel 100% full of energy to do this bike ride, jump on anyway. Once you start going and the adrenaline starts pumping, you kind of forget. And here I am, 24 minutes later, 220 calories burnt. Here comes the hill. Awesome story. Which do you enjoy more, mountain biking or road cycling? So, mountain biking has always been my main passion. What I've found in these last 3 years or so, since I've been doing road cycling, I've learned a whole new discipline in cycling. I didn't really know about cadence and speed and recovery and zones, and I didn't even use a parameter or a heart rate sensor, but I used to record all my data using like a sports tracker. I was more about time, trying to get through whatever route I was doing faster than last time. And what I love about mountain biking on the trails is, even though you ride the same trails all the time, each time you go down, it's a different experience. So you can find a new line, a better line, you can do it faster. Could be muddy, so you've got different handling. Could be dry, so you've got different handling. So I think mountain biking will always be my favourite for the excitement and the thrill. But since getting a couple more road bikes and a gravel bike and just doing more exploring, I'm slowly starting to become more of a fan to road cycling. But I do most of my cycling indoors these days. So that's that story. Anything cycling. Couldn't really ask for more. I do have too many bikes. I'm going to do a stream this year looking at all of my bikes. I have just ordered another new bike as well. So maybe when that one arrives, it might be good to do a little video comparison on my different bikes. People will say, how many bikes can you have? The formula is N+1. Number of bikes you currently have, plus one more. Always. I have a different bike for every occasion. How about yourself? Do you do just road cycling, or do you ever do any mountain biking? To change the view. So you can check out the socks. The Zwift socks. You do both? Okay. Mountain biking and road cycling. So how about you then? What do you prefer? I mean, they're both very different. Although I don't do as much mountain biking now as I used to. When I do go out, I am finding that I've got more strength I've always been quite strong anyway, going up the hills. I've always hated hills, but I used to just grind up them, knowing that, yeah, as crap as the hill is, the downhill is the most exciting bit of mountain biking, and I can rest on the downhill. So I used to just grind up to get done. But whereas now I'm finding that through road cycling, I've learned about cycling efficiently. So there's no point going full gas and flat out on a straight or on a downhill. You're better off saving that for some recovery, especially if you are looking to build time, and go flat out or harder on the hills where the time makes a difference. So you prefer road cycling now, but mountain biking will always have mountain biking will always have a special place in your heart. Yeah, I think I'm in the same place. And the amount that I do this road cycling, even though it's indoors, it really, really is becoming my new favourite thing. Well, anyway, there's half hour on the bike done. Did start the Garmin a bit late, but you know, there's 300 calories burnt without even trying. Okay, right, so I think I'm gonna switch up the game, because then I can show anyone who's new and wondering what this is about, what some of this Zwift setup looks like. It's kind of like a nice warm-up. Get started. Something's telling me to go to 20. Nathan, right on, dude. I should just stop, shouldn't I? It's irrelevant if I'm jumping on again. Why do we like to round up to an even number or a round number? A whole number. I mean, I know I get 20 XP for every kilometre. We'll stop at 18 and switch up the menu. This is my sprint theme. Yes, I have a rocker plate as well. Now I built this myself, this rocker plate. I've got lateral and fore and aft, and I absolutely love this. Obviously I've got videos of this, so you can see. Should we stop this? Oh, and I got myself this little mini keyboard, like a magnetic mount, so it's always here. So, and it just connects to my laptop by Bluetooth. So I don't need to stretch to where the laptop is. I can also control things from here, as I will demonstrate. Here we go. End ride. if you want the plans, let me know and I'll send you the link, or you can find it in the video. I just can't remember what the video is called. But yeah, I've got a spreadsheet and it's got the plans. If you've got a CNC machine, or you can put it on a CNC machine and cut it out or whatever. It's got all the parts as well. And if you was in the UK, you'd also have the place that I bought it from as well. But yeah, it's a really good starting point. I'm not responsible for designing it. That was a guy called Andrew Grab. But yeah, I'm happy to share that to anyone who wants it. So, the Zwift main menu. Start off, there's different activities you can do. So FTP test, if you're that inclined for some suffering. No, not right now, thank you. Some rollouts, workouts. I said rollouts, rolling hills. Different events that are starting. You can just select these events. This one starts in 8 minutes. Free ZRL, one of the racing leagues. There's a different race categories. Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. Now I can ride in any of these apart from D because my category is Group C. I could jump in Group B if I wanted to. Group A, I'd get slaughtered, but you can ride up, you just can't ride down. And then you've got all your different workouts. Pick your different workouts. This is a really good workout. Lots of zone 2 and short bursts. Yeah, so 30-second bursts of 258. Then you get 1 minute recovery, 30 seconds, recovery, 30 seconds. Pretty short as well, so it's only 30 minutes. So a nice, really short 30-minute workout. And I'm looking for the pace partners, which is 24/7 group rides. These are like the robot riders. They were called pace partners when they first start, and they will ride different routes around Zwift at different speeds. So this one's going to go around Wandering Flats on Makuri Islands, and it's going to be riding at about 1.5 kilograms, 29 kilometers an hour. So just pick a pace partner, a robot pacer that's at the pace you want to go at. You can see they go higher. I'm not looking to go too hard. I want about 1.8. What do I want? Wandering Flats. Yeah, let's go for Wandering Flats. Let's have a look at this one. Start that. Now you get a minute, so you don't have to worry about getting started. It will keep you with the group when it first starts. So if you're still sitting up your fan or getting your water bottle, although as soon as you start pedaling, it will stop. So you get 10 seconds initially. If you don't engage, you get another 50 seconds. Anyway, let's start pedaling. So another question from the chat. What's my favourite route on Zwift? Now, it used to be, before they introduced these routes, I used to really love doing sand and Sequoias. Just because the scenery is just really nice to look at. And you got, obviously there's no big climbs, but there's enough undulations. You know, 3%, 4%. I don't think you really get more than 5% for about 20 or 30 seconds. But just enough to have a decent ride, some change in the gradient to make it interesting, and some really nice scenery to look around. But then since they introduced Makuri Islands, like Neokio, just makes it a lot more exciting. There's a lot more things going on, like quite exciting. So I often pick, I think it's Makuri 40. It's a nice 40-kilometer route. And what I like about it is it starts in the city, goes out into the countryside, back into the city again. You get some really nice routes. How about yourself? What do you like to ride? I mean, if I just want to ride and get distance, I'll just jump on Tempest Fugit. Take it easy. I'm really enjoying the climb portal at the moment. I might check out the climb portal on tomorrow's ride. I think I'm liking it because I know hills, riding hills is where you're going to get strong. If you want to improve in cycling, whether that's speed, strength, endurance, just ride hills. Ride hills and ride them hard. If you can be good up a hill, you're good on the flat. Yeah, so it builds up your endurance. Yes, Three Little Sisters. Yes. Again, quite interesting. Lots of green routes. I like it when you go up into the mountains or the hills and you've got the bear, the grizzly bear, climbing the tree after the honey and he falls out, rubs its head. So what I like about Zwift, especially with this route we're on now, just little features to put in. So check this out. We're about to enter an amusement arcade. Look, we're going to ride into an arcade. Just there you see the people on the dance machine. Look, there are Zwift bikes, one-arm bandits, grab machines, whack-a-mole. Look at that. It looks awesome, doesn't it? Could you imagine if you could actually ride through like an arcade? So kudos to the Zwift architect, programmers, putting in these little features. You can get so distracted. Someone just won. We're back out now, riding for the streets. I think we actually start to climb up the rooftops in a bit. You can see people doing Tai Chi workouts, all the neon lights. And of course, there were cars and whatnot driving around, but they don't affect us. We're perfectly safe. So yeah, so if you do get round to building the rocker plate, let me know how it goes. And this like takes out some of the stiffness of just being on a bike that's not moving. So it makes the bike ride a lot more comfortable. So I built this just before I did my virtual Everesting. I was like, I've got to get this done. I need to do everything I can to make that crazy effort as comfortable as possible. I'm just chilling. And you can see the heart rate is where it should be. This is a nice, steady, easy zone to you can ride like this all day. Nah, just bib shorts. I don't even get expensive ones. They're all off eBay or Amazon. I don't like paying lots of money for stuff, but I like to have lots of different ones. I also have the padded undershorts as well, like the gel pads. They don't last that long till they become flat and worn out. I'd rather buy something for a third of the price and buy multiple times than pay like £100 for a set of bib shorts. As nice as they may be, I'm not a pro. I'm just very enthusiastic amateur cyclist. I don't need all the fancy gear. I like to have the gear, but I'll take the cheaper alternative. I do have full sleeved and full legs when I'm riding in the winter or the cold. Then Obviously, I'm not just showing bare skin, bare legs. Yeah, you're on about par with me. I was paying like about £30 for this last set. This one was quite good actually, just the bib shorts, got it on Amazon. And it was crazy cheap. I think I paid about £17, which is about $20. After a year, you know, the padding's flat, but it works fine. You don't want anything flapping about. And mostly it's to soak up the sweat, isn't it? I am in chill zone here. Really in chill zone. So we've left the city, we're heading out into the countryside. Ali in the countryside, Ali in the countryside. Check out this dog on the back of this truck. Look how excited it is. Can you see it? So I've not actually ridden much of these Macquarie Island routes in a while. I think it's because I've been stuck on Tempest for so long. But this is one of the routes that, especially when you've ridden in Watopia for a couple of years, you can mix it up by doing different routes. But it's nice that they have different worlds. And from my 3 years in Zwift, they have been introducing new routes every year. That does make it a lot more interesting. Yeah, I should have probably picked the 2.2 to 2.5 watts per kilogram pace partner. I've obviously got more energy than I thought I did when I first started. Go Diego, go. Welcome to the chat. What does my diet consist of, mate? I look great. Thank you very much. So, I live a fairly healthy lifestyle. Let me slow down for Miguel. So I live a fairly healthy lifestyle. I do a variation of intermittent fasting. I'm not rigid on it. So I don't go, right, my window is 8 hours in where I can eat and 16 hours where I'm fasting. It's loosely around that. And I tend to eat 2 meals a day and my snacking is minimal. So I'm aware of my calories. So I avoid processed foods. I rarely eat takeaways. In fact, they're nearly non-existent. The occasional treat. But I do like to cook my own foods from scratch, even cakes. So my first meal, I usually have around about lunchtime. So for me, that's about sometime between 12 and 1 p.m. And that's usually a bowl of porridge oats with some almonds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, golden syrup. And that's what usually fuels me for my after work bike ride. I normally start about between 4 and 5. Coffees all through the day. I do enjoy milky coffees. And then my evening meal after the bike ride, usually around about 800 calories. And but again, mixture of different vegetables, some of which I grow myself. I don't weigh foods out, but I have an idea. I have a pretty balanced diet. It's probably the best I can say. So you want to eat a variety of vegetables, different types, different colours. Know the 5-a-day rule. I don't worry about how much protein I get. I'm not looking to build size or whatnot. I'm just maintaining what I get. Enough protein from the foods that I eat. Chicken, occasional fish, beef. Yeah. So back when I used to do mountain biking, I used to do all of my bike rides fasted. Now, I didn't have as much knowledge as I do now on, you know, calories and calorie deficits and surplus, and I didn't really understand the importance of calories in, calories out. So I used to do all my mountain bike rides fasted, and what I realise now, the reason why on certain routes I get to a certain point in the route, usually after about 90 minutes, where I'd bonk, energy's just gone. Be like, oh, I've got no energy left. What I understand now is that there's no need to do that. So I will, very, very rarely will I ride the bike fasted. I tend to fuel according to the bike ride that I'm doing. And I have my electrolytes in here. So I've got my Science in Sport electrolyte powder in there. Although sometimes I just have some sugar in water. Get a fresh orange, squeeze a fresh orange into it, or a lemon. I've got some vitamin C in there as well. Some natural sugars from that fruit. Usually throwing about 30-40 grams of carbs in the water. I know that's going to give me enough fuel to get me through when I'm riding. There's no point in bunking. And I used to do it because I used to believe that it meant that I was burning more calories. You burn the same amount of calories whether you've got food in you or not. But it was more about the body fat burn. Whether it's right or not, I don't know. But exercise is exercise. The laws of thermodynamics can't really be changed or bent, can they? So I don't do fasted. Maybe the odd morning, if I'm on for an hour. But if I was doing like a race or a big ride, absolutely fuel according to the effort that I'm going to put out. Hope that answers your question. I'm not saying there's not times I won't cycle fasted. I just feel you'll get more out of your workout if you don't find yourself wanting more energy. You know, I wouldn't get in my car and drive to London with only 50 miles of fuel. It's 100 miles from here to London. But I would drive to London with 110 miles of fuel to know that I've got enough to get me there and a little bit of contingency. And I think you should treat your body the same way. Fuel according to the effort you're going to pull out and be able to supplement. It's probably about 120 calories per 400 ml in here. If I start flagging, I will need that little boost. Sometimes it's a mental boost, just tasting that sugar tricks you, well, it tricks my body into thinking like I'm getting that additional boost. So I'm getting dropped here. Getting with the group. How about you? Do you ever do fasted? No, I'm not saying one way is right or better than the other. When I was doing all what I do, I believed that to be the best method, and that's what I did. I've moved away to different theories or perspectives now, where I just take different perspectives and theories from different people, and I weigh up what I think works for me, also what applies to me. But I try not to get too bogged down in it. I want to enjoy myself. want it to be fun. I don't want it to be so repetitive or sterile and just becomes bland and boring. Yeah, I mean, breakfast is break fast, breaking the fast. It's the first meal you have after usually going to sleep, which is typically the longest period that you go without eating. If you think the average person sleeps for 8 hours, that's a long time to not eat anything. So all I do, I'll just extend that 8 hours a little bit further to beyond 12 hours, maybe up to about 14. And that just makes it easier for me to be able to manage my calories in the day. I'm probably typically eating somewhere between 1,800 and 2,500 calories a day, depending on what workout I'm doing. So on a day like today, I'll probably be on about 2,000. On a weekend, because I know that I'm doing a bigger workout and a bigger bike ride, I'll probably be on 2,500, and I might have more treats. I might enjoy a cake or a Costa or Starbucks coffee. Yes, and coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. I'm a coffee fiend. Coffee's good. There's some studies that talk about the benefits of adding caffeine to your training. I love the caffeine hit. I kind of need it sometimes, especially in the job that I do. So it sounds as if the small meal you're eating is going to be enough to fuel you in your workout. And that's probably the reason why, I mean, I love cereals. So if I'm not having porridge oats, I'm having something like shredded wheat or Weetabix, you know, high in fibre. And when I add the golden syrup, I know that's going to be what my body call on, especially if I've got to do any sort of like sprints or hills. I need that fast energy hit. I've got the carbs for the slow burn, and I've got the sugar for the fast twitch. And then it means that I'm not, I'm done. Nothing worse than bonking, and worst comes to the worst, I've got my energy gels for a quick boost. I think these are about 80 calories as well, but they're also hydration. So that's me. Right, we're coming up nearly to the end of this hour. It's great to get so many questions today. Thank you very much. Whether you've tuned in specifically for the questions or you've just stumbled across. Subscribing is free, and it says to me you enjoyed what I've done. Check out some of my other videos. Some of them are about Zwift. Some of them are funny according to me. Probably not funny according to some people. Informative, educational, but I think the best of all, I try to make sure they're entertaining. Sharing is caring is what I always say. You know what? We're here just having fun. Cycling, it's good for the mind, mental stimulation. You can do it at home, do it outside on your own, do it in groups. It is an amazing way to be social, active and healthy. And of course for me, it's just one other facet to my overall cycling regime. 550 calories burnt on this ride. Probably a bit more. I did start the Garmin about 10 minutes late. Anyway, so 600 calories for an hour. chatting to some lovely people online. Now I can jump in the bath, have a soak, relax the muscles, and finish off later this evening with some yoga, so stretching and conditioning. And that's my routine. Right. We have reached our hour. It's time to end the stream. Should I head back to the city and then end it? I think I'm gonna finish off by showing you guys 1,000-watt sprint. What do you reckon? Did I get a thumbs up for a 1,000-watt sprint? Or do I spin down? Might have to move the mic. I think it'd be hard not to, wouldn't it? Here we go. 1,000-watt sprint for the stream. Don't know how high I got, but I've dropped the keyboard. Right. It has been a pleasure. I will see you tomorrow or Friday or maybe on Saturday. Thanks for watching. Spread the word. The BBC is live at 5. Adios, peeps. 11:35. I'll take that. See you all.